Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I recently recorded a video talking about my experiences as a worker during the pandemic, but I realized that can be the second video because I wanted to make a video saying how I feel about working in retail, just in general, because if you guys don't know, I've never worked before working at a retail, and let me tell you, that's something to start with. Yeah, I just want to talk about me working in retail, like how it is to be a retail worker, if you guys wanted to know, because there's a lot of different places you can work, like in food and all that stuff, but I work in retail. So I don't even know the other things you can work as, but terrible stuff. Retail's worse. I've never worked before. I mean, I worked on a film set, but not work because we didn't get paid. I was just an actor, so we didn't get paid. And I was a director. I didn't get paid. And I worked this past week on set, but we're not getting paid for this one either. But I do want to talk about it in general. So I won't say where I work for specific reasons, but I do work in retail, and it's just crazy. When I first started, I really had no idea. In my interview, they would ask me a ton of questions, and I just applied every single question to my niece because I'm she's kind of someone I'm here with. I was hired on the spot because it was the holiday season, so there's that. And yeah, a big mistake on my part. But yeah, we could go ahead and talk about that. So right away I was put in the tech department because I'm good at technology, I think. I'm looking at myself through my reflection in my TV and I'm really? I'm not good at technology, but I mentioned that I do YouTube and I'm yeah, I like to play video games, and they're like, perfect, you're going there. And one of my soundproof panels fell. They didn't like how I said perfect. I started there. I thought it was crazy. People would ask me questions, and I'm haha, I don't know. So I called my supervisor and stuff. But that's basically how it is now. I started there. It was smooth sailing. I loved working in the tech department. It was so much fun. I love the people there. And, all I gotta do is just get the video games for people, make them pay for it, and they're out. But then, after the holiday season, beginning of this year, or the end of December, beginning of this year, I was moved to the registers. That's a whole other thing for ya. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. People are terrible. I'm trying to think of things pre-pandemic, but pandemic currently is what I'm thinking a lot about. But when I started, people were really nice because I'm sorry, I'm new. And they're oh, it's okay, we get it. But there are people that are so rude. One time, this lady was trying to pay with credit, not debit, because she didn't know her PIN number. And so I was so I looked at the screen and I was inputting stuff. And then, literally, the lady who was in front, because she was waiting because I didn't know how to open an alcohol bottle, she was just oh my gosh, can you just wait? She was pissed, and I was ah. And then the person who was behind her was yeah, can't you see she's new here? And I was ah. Not physically, but in my head, I was OMG. They were mad at that lady for being mad at me. So I just want to say thank you to those two ladies. You guys helped me a lot. No, yeah, usually when it's the rush, that's when I'm It's terrible because, I feel I have to go fast. Yeah, people are mean. And then I didn't want to mention something one time, because people can put their number for rewards because we have a reward system, and I accidentally skipped it because people usually say no. And well, back then our screens, we wouldn't be able to go to where they pay, the screen where they pay, unless they pressed yes or no for their number. So I would just press it myself because I'm these people don't know, these people don't care. So I would just press no. But then one time a lady, she got so mad, and I was oh my god, I'm sorry. And I remember being have a good day, and she just straight up just dashed off angry, and I'm oh, okay. It's crazy, it's hectic. Security is always on my ass. I was did you check everything in their car? Did you check everything in their car? And I'm yes, I did. I know, I scanned everything. And it's it's always scarier or that and stuff. But I think it's just, I'm trying to think. It's so hard to think of man, because pre-pandemic, that felt years ago. We're just living in pandemic time. I have a friend, a best friend. He's my bestie. We always talk all the time, and we always get in trouble because we're always talking. But it's dude, you can't separate us. Other than that, my coworkers, everyone's nice, which is a good thing, because if everyone was mean, I would hate working there, because everyone's nice. It makes it 10 times better. Other than that, the rush is crazy. When it's calm, it's pretty cool, we're all just hanging out. But I have noticed I like to close. I don't know why. I mean, my family hates it because I don't know how to drive, so I'm just vibing. Like, you know, I like when the store's closed, you know, you're just chilling with your coworkers, putting stuff away or fixing things, making everything look pretty for the openers. I'm chill with opening. I just hate the shifts where I'm like closing and it's midnight and then I have to wake up at 8 a.m. for a shift. Like, I swear that's happened before. And let me tell you a story. So I closed, I think, yeah, at midnight, and then the next morning I went in at 9. And then my supervisor was like, okay, just take care of self-checkout. So I went over to self-checkout, and then a guy was leaving, and I was like, have a good night. It was 9 a.m. And so I was like, I mean morning. And I'm pretty sure my supervisor laughed at me. I didn't see her face, but she probably laughed. And she doesn't work there anymore, so I miss her so much. Actually, one time, oh my gosh, let me tell you a story. Okay, after I put everything in this lady's bag, she's like,
are they light? Because I can't carry these.
And I'm like, what? Like, she didn't say that before. Like, I hate when people are like, they say things and then, or like, they don't mention and then at the end they mention it and I'm like, we're already done with this transaction. I hate when people like will give me like a 20 and then it's like 1930 and I'm like, or 1936 or something. Let's make it a complicated number. And then they're like, oh wait, I have the change. So then I'm there like, I already input the number so the screen tells me how much I have to give them back. But now that they give me their change after, I'm like sitting there like, da-na-na-na. No, I'm like looking at the change and I'm like, how much do I give them? Sometimes they're nice and they're like, oh, you owe me this much because they can do the math in their head. I can't. I seriously am like beep when I'm there because it's like, I don't know anything. Like, I swear, oh my god, can I just complain for a second? I feel like I always do dumb stuff when I'm around my supervisors. Like, I don't know shit when I'm around them. And then, like, one time I was like, they call it, or like when I just try to get people like quicker, like we have this phone and, you know, just we get through the lines quicker, like so they get out quicker. And so when the printer wasn't working and I was like, I need help. And then he came up to me and he was like, oh, your printer's not on. The printer wasn't on. So I was like super duper pissed about that. Like, I was like, are you kidding me? And then it happened again. And like where I just do something dumb, and I swear it's always the one supervisor, it's not my other supervisors, where I'm like, ooh, when he's not around I'm like flourishing, but then when he comes over I'm like, so it's like, oh, I hate being an embarrassment to myself at work because I'm like, come on guys, I'm not this dumb. I mean, I am, but you know. Anyways, retail's awesome. So if you guys are just thinking about it, I mean, go ahead. I mean, I just think it's crazy how I've never had a job in my life. I get a job. Yay! Stephanie finally got a job. Yeah. Bam! Pandemic. Like, you know, have you guys seen that one John Mulaney? I don't even know. Mulaney. The John Mulaney quote where he's like, you know, we're in one of those days where you're like, this might as well happen. That's me. And that's the pandemic where you're just like, this might as well happen to me. But yeah, that's how it is to be a retail worker. People are nice, sometimes people are not. It's always stressful. It's always like, when is the time to go home? There's days that go by quick. There's days that go by like forever. And you're like, when is this over? And that's basically it. And also, I have another complaint for you. But I always get called in for work. And I'm like, I'm sleeping. Please don't. Yeah, if you guys want me to work, schedule me. That's how I feel most of the time. But that's all I got to say about being a retail worker. Hopefully, I don't know how my schedule is working. But hopefully the next video or the next video after is gonna be how I feel working in a pandemic. So if you guys want to watch that one, check it out. That's, I think, where I go more in depth and more about my emotional state. So yeah, thanks for watching, and if you guys are a retail worker, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Have a great day.